Alright guys, so we are back with some more Persona 5 The Phantom X. And in today's video, we're going to be showcasing the best healer introduced to us by version 1.1, Marian. If you're the kind of player that enjoys playing the game where your team is not dying frequently and losing a buttload of HP and having to stay in very low HP threshold throughout an entire fight, Marian is the character to relieve you of all that stress and just enter this comfortable playstyle. Her main bread and butter is healing, so she has two healing skills, one that can help you get rid of debuffs and another that can just heal up the entire party and have a greater effect when you build up these diagnosis stacks. And in order to build up those diagnosis stacks, you need to either use your skill 1 or skill 2. And with the max diagnosis stacks obtained being 2, you can then use this healing effect here, which will have a greater effect when having 2 diagnosis stacks. And for those who invested into pulling for her 5-star weapon, you are basically rewarded in a sense for using those diagnosis stacks. When you use your skill 3 to heal up that party after building up a diagnosis stack, you are able to give the party a 25 damage % increase for 1 turn. As long as you have one single diagnosis, you are able to consume it to give that party that 25% damage buff. So if you got her 5-star weapon, you are essentially getting an upgrade for her to be not only a really good healer, but a pretty decent buffer for the team. However, you don't necessarily need the weapon to give your team an attack buff or a damage buff. Her passive skill actually allows you to get a bit of damage buffs when you have a blessing stack. And now in order to get these blessing stacks, it's quite similar to how you get diagnosis stacks. You either use your skill 1 or your skill 2. With skill 1, however, you're able to grant a blessing stack to everybody in the party. And something to keep in mind, these blessing stacks only last for 2 turns, as you can see here. Recover 1 HP for 2 turns. So very quickly before we get into the showcase, we'll look over at my Marian's level and stats. So these are my Marian's current stats. All the skill levels are at level 5. Usually I do have them level 6, but I kept them level 5 since she's already doing more than enough healing at skill level 5 and with the investment I have in her. For the revelation card set, we're using the control set. This one is a placeholder. I think the most optimal one is HP, since you'll get a bit of a damage increase if you're using that skill 1. So don't use HP recovery. I mean, you could. It's not a completely dead stat, as she does heal. Optimally, I would want to run HP here, but for now we have HP recovery, and the rest is the standard HP. We are also running the departure card here. Specifically, when we use skill 1 to get those blessing stacks, we can also additionally decrease the main target's defense for 2 turns. So with all that being said, we're going to be running Marian on the second half of the Velvet Trials here on my Joker team, specifically to bring that comfort with the healing, but also provide damage buffs for the party and debuffs on the enemy. With that being said, let's do the Velvet Trials. He's the only one on the field right now. He should get marked. Yeah, okay. They get marked. First things first, let's go over to skill 1 on Rin. Do that with Joker here. Once again, basically do what Rin did. Skill 1 to build up that stack right there. And with Wonder here, let's go over to White Raider. I do have a higher level persona. I don't remember what the name of it was, if it was Pale Rider or someone else. Higher level curse persona. The reason why I still run White Rider, it's because of it being such a good dedicated support for Joker. If we inflict curse on an enemy, we're able to increase the curse damage the enemy takes by a certain percentage for a turn, and it stacks up to 4 times. I think it's like 5 point something %. So Wonder's mostly working here as a support for Joker to increase the damage. For those like wondering if why I don't use like a higher level persona, because my White Rider is only level 50. It's not like crazy invested to. It's more so the passive I use them for. Skill 1 here to get some curse stacks right there. And with Marian, usually I like to start off with skill 1 defense decrease right here, so we can get the blessing stack. Before we go into our skill 3 here with Rin, we'll pop Club Okion and give Joker his buffs. Rin skill 3. We're going to be maximizing that damage with Joker. So here, now we go skill 1. Wonderful. Look at that. So we only have Club Okion available for this turn, so we're going to use this. Joker's highlight here to get rid of these mobs, the 2 angels. Now we got the fresh batch of the angels, and then follow up with the skill 3. 12k, not crazy. With Wonder here, we try this again, inflict them. With this, we're gonna go over to Okion, pop the buffs first things first, and then we go over to Skill 3, consume these stacks. Target Joker, because I believe the main target will get the extra blessing buff on top of the 25% provided by the weapon. So if we take a look over here, the Oath of Rescue increases damage by 25%. That's the weapon. And then health comes first is the 18%, I think, provided by the blessing stack we had, since we had one. Now we follow up with skill 1 here with Rin and finish one off. Not both, but only one, which sucks that that one is still alive for like just barely hanging on for dear life. Oh, okay, they're dead. Never mind. That's good. Now we can continue mayhem with Joker here. Damage increase. We're gonna do this. Since we want to provide the damage increase, we need increased damage on that boss. Now, since we are on that extra turn, let's use our skill 3 here. See, I know this is low-key looking like a Joker showcase because I'm using like Joker to dish out damage here, but don't forget, Marian's keeping this party like healthy. She's keeping this party mad healthy because of her healing. So right now, like for example, Wonder is like reaching like below 50%, if I'm not mistaken, like on that edge. With Marian, you don't have to really worry about that. You don't. Let's provide another curse stacks here. Marian, we need the blessing stacks first and foremost. So let's do this. On the boss, decrease defenses, provide the blessing stack for the team. And we're letting Wonder reach that below 50% threshold. He's like at what, 20%, 30% HP, and that's okay. We're okay with that. Let's use skill 3. Skill 3 with Joker, follow up with skill 1. It's a rinse and repeat process, and if I had ran Leo here, it's a very like high risk, high reward team, and sometimes you may lose out on like damage because you'd have to run Wonder as like a kind of healer to keep the team up. I like to run Puppet on the first half, so I don't have access to Puppet on the second half, so this is what we're running with. Joker's highlight is shortly coming up after we finish this turn, so I'm waiting. I'm not going to use any other party members' highlight attack. We're waiting specifically for Joker's. So the turn's over. Let's use the highlight on Joker here. We should get rid of both the angels here. We need a fresh batch, right? As long as we get those angels out of here, we keep a fresh batch. Well, we didn't finish them here, but I'm pretty sure with Wonder, we'll be able to like wipe house right here. Good. Now we have a fresh batch, and we need to heal Wonder, right? He's not looking good. That dude was in the leaning down animation. Is he still on a leaning down? No, he's not. Give Joker the main target. We make Joker the main target there. Give him a little bit more damage boost. Rin, decrease defense. We're on one final turn left, so let's try and make the most of this. Flabokion, let's. Skill 1. Nearly finish them. Not quite, but nearly. Now we use skill 3. Bink. 36k, 36k. So we're able to reach that 600,000 threshold, which is really good. With Wonder here, I think we'll just curse damage to all foes, but I really don't want to do curse damage, so let's instead increase the party's damage because we're gonna do something to get a little bit of points last second. We're gonna do Tatra Shot here. We need to maximize Joker's damage. We need to get Joker to do more strikes, and the way to get him to do more strikes is by giving him a turn here. Get more chip damage there, and then with Marian, do this, and we should be able to give Joker another turn where we can just give him a little strike right here. A little 15k strike, and it's over. Obviously we could optimize the run a little better, but I managed to get a better record, and that's almost a cursed number. We have 666, and imagine just these 7s were replaced with 2 6s. Completely off topic, but we did pretty decent regardless. Usually I like to run Leo. I think I said it earlier before, but I like to run Leo instead, but it's very high risk, high reward. You get a lot of damage, but the survivability isn't there, and you mess up rotations trying to heal your team to keep them alive. But I mean, it's not a bad team. This is my favorite Joker team to run because of the comfort I have with this team. So I mean, it's not a bad team for the Velvet Trials, as you can see. So at the start of the video, we looked over at Marian's stats and revelation cards that I was running on her, but now it's time to showcase the other characters in the party's stats and revelation cards. So for Wonder, the following personas I was running was Genostic, White Rider, and Kamokuten. Genostic was run on the first slot, specifically for the passive right here. When we start the match, we inflict the foe with Marked, and what Marked actually does is decreases the foe's defense by 24.3%, and when we attack the foe that was inflicted with Mark with a different party member besides Wonder, we were able to dish out extra damage as Wonder received a 20% increase in his attack. And for the second persona and the main damage dealing persona we ran, we had a White Rider, though they are not the greatest for damage dealing as I only have them at level 50, and I do acknowledge that. They were mostly ran for the passive, as well as when we used a skill on a foe, it increased curse damage taken by 5.3% per stack of curse. So the foe was taking more curse damage, and that allowed for our Joker to do more damage, not so much Wonder. And last but not least, Kamokuten, really not used as much until like the final part of the match, and mostly because we just wanted to use their highlight, which allows us to increase party damage by 25.4%. And it was mostly there, useful for the final minutes when we couldn't use Rin or Joker's highlight attacks, and we used it to increase the last bit of damage we could get out with Joker. So this was the weapon we ran on Wonder, which allowed us to increase his attack by 56% and increase his damage by 12% for each persona he equipped that was of different attribute, and we did have 3 personas of 3 different attributes, which allowed us to get a 36% damage increase. So this was our main man Joker's stats. He is at level 70 with his signature weapon at level 70, and all of his skills are at level 7. We are running the hindrance set on him with attack multiplier, crit rate, and attack percentage, and the departure card here, which allows us to increase his attack by 30% for 3 turns after defeating a foe. With the Velvet Trials being so AoE focused, this was a good set for him. These were the stats for Rin, and these were the skill levels. We had the Prosperity set on her, running HP, and Speed. Departure card here, which allows us to increase the party's damage by 8% for 1 turn simply by attacking a foe. Do keep in mind my Kaio is a 6. The skill levels are the following: 8, 6, 8, though these two don't really matter as we were mostly using skill 1, which is level 8. We are running the power set on her, prioritizing attack percent, crit rate. I have gotten asked before why I run crit rate on my navigators, and that is because the navigators share a certain percent of their stats. So I put the crit rate here, so a bit of their crit rate gets transferred to my main party members. And last but not least, we have attack percentage here, and we have the trust card here to increase our party's attack by 10% at the start of battle. So that is going to do it for Marian and the showcase itself. This is my current favorite team. It's very flexible in terms of keeping your team alive and also providing damage buffs and debuffs on enemies, so it's a very good team if you have put the investment into it. But besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you guys are brand new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.